Good afternoon, everyone. A little late today, but we're here. It has been an insane December and November for us. So I just got back from Austin, Texas, where I met with some really cool people, Chris Weiser and group,
Yeah,
doing some AI podcasting. So everybody will be looking out for that coming up here pretty soon.
that'd be good.
I think this week I have down as the value of laziness, right?
Mhm.
And I think my trip to Austin kind of shows like that's not hard work. That was me I saw an opportunity to go down and talk about my knowledge in AI and help other people know about it. That's an
Mhm.
easy route for me to go through. Now, I could have gone on and spent the last 4 days pushing on CRM data, finding new clients, emailing, phone calling, and that's really hard work.
Yeah, that is. Yep.
Or I can look for the opportunities to be efficient, to be a little lazy, to travel and to talk and do things that fit within my strengths
Mhm.
and see what that does. And I think if you look for those opportunities to be lazy and that are going to be effective, I think you can
Yep.
come out way ahead.
And I think this carries, across to a variety of levels. And at some of the really simplest ones, when we talk about this one, templates pop to mind. I have a lot of initiatives that, trying to do something, engage with our members or, provide updates on something. And we have such a high touch, personalized kind of ethos around here that I feel like I need to write each individual email or, whatever communication I'm putting out. But I noticed that, I'm putting a lot of the same information in here every single message. And I said, okay, well, I don't really need a template. That's an extra step over here. It's not that hard. But I found that when I go ahead and create the template, take that little extra effort, and then I'm not really being lazy because I still get in there and I make edits and I customize those messages so that it's still a genuine communication, but it will dramatically increase my productivity. And so what you said there, Adam, the efficiency element, there is a direct correlation between laziness and efficiency. And it's a positive one. So you've got to look at it from a perspective of how can I be lazy so that I can do more? And,
Yes.
and that is truly valuable.
Yeah, like how can I be more efficient at producing results? So in an MSP, I see people all the time like they hyper focus on asset management. They hyper focus on licensing. And
Mhm.
because it's something they can do. It's not that they don't want to work. It's just that this is work that they understand. And so
That's it.
they really grind on it.
Yep.
And the people that are winning are out there doing sales and buying donuts for customers and doing fun things like that. And maybe that's a little uncomfortable
Yep.
to an engineer, but it's lazy. Like you look at people, it's frustrating as an engineer. You go, but I work so hard. Like,
Yeah.
why am I not rich like them? Why are they getting all the glory or whatever the complaint is?
Yeah.
Um, it's because you got to think, where's your most impact? What is efficient? And it's not always being lazy is the bad thing. Oftentimes, the lazy thing to do is a thing that's going to win. It's
Yeah.
going to help you. Like vibe coding, it's lazy. However, you still need to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so the lazier route there is to kind of understand vibe coding, understand architecture and things like how React code works with each other or how JavaScript works. Just have a basic understanding so
Mhm.
that as you're coding, you don't have to redo everything.
Yeah.
It's the same thing in your MSP. If you do things right the first time, then you can be better going forward. If you do things hard the first time, you might end up doing things hard going down the road. And it's hard to tell when you're overworking yourself until it's too late. Like you're like, oh crap, I'm all burnt out.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I'm exhausted. Like, well, why did you work so hard then? Well, because I had to. Did you stop and think about whether you had to? Was there a lazier way to do this that would have netted the same result? could you have handed this off to Skip and said, Skip, please make this? But that's the problem. And, you know, we've got members, you know, where like they've been going on for like months and they go nowhere.
Yeah.
And they're working really hard. It's not that they're not hard workers. They're just not strategic.
Yeah. Well, I want to take a little different tact on this as well, and kind of centered around the hard work element. I think the true pinnacle of laziness value is the hard work that goes into it. So a little bit of a backstory on some of the things I've had going on, diving deep into AI tools and various things like that. So I've got a Claude desktop running, and the vision is, all right, that I'll be lazy. All right. I'm working towards a lazy goal here. And I want to enable this AI to do all these automatic functions for me. But at the same time, I want this to be real. I want it to be a quality output. All right. So I don't want canned, generic sort of responses that you get out of any AI. No one's going to like those. And I want it to be accurate as well. So I spent a ridiculous amount of time essentially training my AI on the humanized IT methodology, how we do things, our goals, our priorities, the methodologies that we go through to get there. Now I have a tool that when I put in a prompt there, it responds with a bit of information that is pretty much what I would have come up with just if I sat down at the keyboard and put it all in there myself. And kind of interestingly enough, even some of the little language, assembly areas resemble things that I've said or created in the past. So I now have a good tool that can enable me to be a bit lazy. Just today, it created a new knowledge base article for us. And I still went in there and edited it a little bit, but it was prepared and the content was on point for what I'm wanting to do. So a lot of work went in there, but I now have an opportunity in a few areas to be lazy now.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting way to look at it. And that's what I always think about when, because we've talked about this before, the value of laziness. Yes, there's an extreme bit of value in there, but sometimes it takes a lot of work to be lazy.
Yeah, there's a famous saying that you hear me say all the time is, I would have written a shorter letter, but I didn't have the time.
Yeah.
Samuel Clemens /
Yep.
Mark Twain.
Mark Twain.
And the idea there is like, you want to be lazy. Sometimes being lazy takes hard work. Sometimes it just takes being smart. Sometimes it takes just being wise. Remember, intelligence and wisdom are not the same thing, people. And we all know that.
Yep.
The use of intelligence is wisdom. Anyways, the application of intelligence is wisdom. And so when we were in January through March, and Skip and I said, hey, run your year like this. Make sure that you're doing your key stakeholder audits. Make sure that you're meeting with these people. This is lazy. We're just telling you, hey, let's be careful. Let's just do this. Let's ensure that we're getting this stuff done now. It's going to take you 15 minutes to do this. Now, had you followed some of those key principles, you're coming up on December, everything's done.
Yes, that's it.
What are you doing in December? Kind of cleaning up for the year, making sure to close out any projects that need to be done by December 31st, making sure I've got my vacations lined up. I mean, I'm pretty relaxed. Some of you out there going, you worked really hard on tickets and operations in first quarter, second quarter of this year. And then all of those projects got smooshed into second quarter or third quarter and fourth quarter. And now you're panicking.
Yep.
And it happens. And we see it happen because then you call suddenly saying, oh, crap, I was supposed to get this done earlier this year and I need help.
Yes.
And so our sales in January skyrocket because it was a 30-day trial as all of you guys come in January, in December saying, oh, crap.
Yep.
So we have to move forward here. You have to think forward. And that's part of laziness. Like, I don't want to do that tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take care of it right now. So tomorrow I can relax.
Yeah.
I want to do this now so it doesn't pile up later. That is laziness.
Yep.
Forecasting out what's going on now. I am not going to work tickets today because I need to spend a day working on the business and strategizing and figuring out where we're going to go.
Mm-hmm.
That is how you're lazy. But we think like, oh crap, if I don't work on tickets today, I'm going to fall behind. No, if you don't work on strategy today, you're going to fail.
Yes. And that's it. Yeah.
And I learned this, like there was, oh man, it's been 15 years, but we used to have a really good team. Like we had 500 engineers and we had some good teams there. And what happened was we realized that you need to have 1 or 2 people that were taking tickets that day.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Out of a team of 7. And if 1 or 2 people, you had a primary and you had a backup. And their job was to just kind of sort tickets and see who could do what and figure out what's going on. And then you had like 2 to 3 people just doing project work. They could not be assigned tickets.
Yep.
And the idea there is that people kept falling behind. The root cause of why projects were not getting completed was there were so many tickets and everybody was being distracted by tickets.
Yep. That's
it.
exactly.
Not done yet. It wasn't that they weren't working. It wasn't they were bad employees. They just didn't focus on projects because the urgency of tickets was always looming over them.
Yes.
And if a ticket from a P1 went unanswered, they're going to get yelled at by their boss.
Yep.
You say, well, I was working on this project. I didn't see it come in. It doesn't matter when you've got a VP breathing down the neck of your boss. So when we created a scenario where you knew that there are certain days of the week that you could focus on building and planning and project work, all of a sudden we started getting better as an IT department.
Yep.
And that really resonated in my head. That there needs to be days where you're not grinding as hard as you can.
Mm-hmm.
There needs to be these days.
Well, and so as a really practical sort of example or case here, right now, I know there are a lot of MSPs out there that are in that chaotic mode. They're trying to close out this year and they're trying to get started for next year. And they're finding themselves in the exact same place they were 12 months ago. And they start out on this. You've already mentioned it. January, we've got a lot of new people coming in. They're going, all right, I'm going to do this. All right. And they're starting this initiative because of the pain that they had in December. All right. In late November, they were trying the concept's there. I mean, it's not revolutionary, right? It's fairly simple to understand. Hey, I need to work proactively so that I make more money. That's always a better approach. And they start out in January doing all these things, but then those tickets or those activities start popping in. They're like, oh, I got to do this. I got to get this quote out. I got to, it's just all these firefighting things that they do, and they drift off and they don't commit to getting this information structured the way they want, getting this workflow in their organization tuned up, and they will end up in the exact same spot this time next year.
Yeah.
So that early sort of effort that you have to put in there is real. We appreciate that. I strongly feel our platform is pretty easy on that sort of load because there's ways you can do it in incremental steps. And I think that's always important to not try to eat the whole elephant once, the old saying there. But getting those things rolling sometimes is maybe a little easier than keeping them going, but you've got to keep that dedication on until you get that point of, okay, I've hit a spot where I can now be lazy, and these things are going to do it for me automatically. And you'll see those payoffs for many of our members. The end of the year hasn't been, as crazy as it could have been because they're able to go in and see all this information. They've got great dashboards. They can send information out to their clients. Budget conversations were had weeks ago or months ago even, and they're kicking off January with a plan. So they've spent the time and they're reaping the rewards of that now. So there's not a magic fix to any of this. So it is
a magic fix. It's just
yeah.
a switch, Skip. You just got to switch it enough times.
I know. Unfortunately, that is just life. But that upfront effort really, really does pay off.
It does.
And you can balance it with the firefighting mode. It's not an all or nothing deal. You don't have to check out from your inbox or your queue for weeks on end. You can manage it, but you do need to be diligent. You do need to say, hey, I'm going to do this, and here's my plan on getting it done, and stick to your plan.
Yeah, it's a matter of building good habits that allow you to be a little lazier, and then not feeling guilty about being late. Because like when I started my whole Friday afternoons off thing, look, I felt guilty about that. You know what I would do on a Friday afternoon is I would have a beer around 1 o'clock. Because my rule is you don't drink and work.
Good.
And so as soon as I had a beer, I couldn't work. Sorry. You know, even if you called me in, sorry, I can't work. I had a beer. You know, I know I'm not an airline pilot, but do you really want a guy 2 beers in to come work on your core firewalls?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Okay. Or maybe you do. Maybe you're just that kind of environment.
Yeah.
Anyways, the idea
maybe like Johnny Fever.
When I started to take those Friday afternoons off, I started noticing that I started getting more efficient, that I started actually getting more done, that my world became tighter. And because of that, I've realized I need to do this in other areas. Like your December, you should be shutting down. You should not be squishing in as much as possible. Yeah, this should be a relaxed month for you, with extra cash, with extra time to kind of like reboot for the year. And if everything went to crap this year, and you, like for me, you're trying to pivot hard, you have December and late November to kind of squeeze in that stuff.
Yeah.
And anybody who's seen my Humanized AI stuff knows that Adam has been burning the candle at not just both ends, but somehow I found a way to burn it in the middle. And you know, eventually I'm going to drag Skip into this. I know he's chomping at the bit, but man,
absolutely,
it's insane. But if I hadn't built my year around the idea that December and November should be relaxed, I wouldn't have this no-op that I can throw things into and burn really hard and show people like this is where the world is.
Yep.
So anyways, laziness will help you. Laziness is, my tips are, take your Friday afternoons off. That means no taking support calls, no scheduling meetings, no planning out events on Friday afternoons. They are yours. Go mow a lawn. Go look at the sky. Smoke a cigar. Do something for yourself on Friday afternoon. Every once in a while, you're going to have a week where things were really bad and you need to work that Friday. And that's okay, because now you have that resource. That laziness is going to save you, rather than if you pack out all your hours of your day every week. When you have those busy weeks, you have no overflow, which means everything that you were going to do gets pushed into the next week, and that heap keeps piling up higher and higher in front of you. But if you have those no ops on Friday afternoons, it's going to get rid of that.
Yep.
And my second thing is make the end of the year, or make your summer or somewhere, a less than busy season where you don't plan out projects, where you don't plan out deployments. This is an area of the year where you have nothing planned. And most of the time, it's going to go just like that. And then every once in a while, you're going to be like, I am so grateful I had that extra time.
Yeah, you've got it built in.
Laziness will make you a far better person than hard work will.
Yeah. Well, let me throw a closing comment on that one is don't be afraid of that hard work going into it. I know so many times I've hit those points and like, yeah, I think I could probably make this, you know, some sort of template or something else, but I don't know, and I'd have to spend a lot of time to do it, and I can just go ahead and knock it out right now. All right. But at the back of my mind, I know that, while I can knock it out right now, I'm going to have to do this again and again and again and again. And overall, that's going to be a really inefficient step to go down. You know, some of the things that I've been doing with AI here of late have not panned out the way I wanted. All right. I've hit roadblocks on this and that. And so in some aspects, you could say, well, you wasted all that time. You invested that work and now you're not going to get the lazy payoff. Yeah, maybe. But I also have learned a ton of information. I mean, deep dives into MCPs and, what really goes into a context window and how can we manage that? There's all of this really valuable information that I didn't have, 6 weeks ago. And now even though I don't have my lazy, buttons to push on these, I have this greatly increased, knowledge base around what can be done with AI and the challenges that we might find. So the next project we kick off, I'm not showing up to that clueless going, hey, let's figure this out. I've actually got some guidelines that is going to help, steer where I need to focus my attention. So that upfront work is really, really valuable. Even if you don't get the lazy button you thought you were going to get out of it, you're going to learn, and it's going to help your next attempt to be lazy or something else where you really have to work hard. You'll be better empowered to do that activity. So don't be afraid of the hard work up front.
Yeah. And I think that's something I need to kind of push on everybody. There's a difference in laziness between somebody who throws their code on the floor and just can't be bothered to pick it up, and the person who hangs it up knowing that they don't want to pick it up later.
Yep.
There's a difference in mentality there.
Yes.
And so there is wise laziness, and then there is disruptive laziness, destructive laziness. And so destructive laziness creates debt. Smart laziness creates opportunity and creates freedom.
Yep.
So make sure you're doing those things. And I think laziness needs to be paired with the two other great virtues of impatience and hubris, which is excessive pride. You feed all those things together and you end up being somebody who has more time on their plate, who is happier and feels more fulfilled throughout their day.
Yep.
All right, everyone, be more lazy. Find ways to structure your year next year to be lazy, and do your employees a favor and help them be lazy. Move your company in a way where it is relaxed and you're out of firefighting mode, that things aren't getting worse every day, but they're getting better every day.
There you go.
All right. Thank you, Skip, for coming on. We're getting close to the Christmas holiday.
Yep.
According to our events calendar, which I think this last year, we're going to use this particular events calendar. Next year, it's going to be very different.
That'd be cool.
So we're going to move into like last minute tricks next week. And then we're going to kind of do a crystal ball look the week afterwards. And then we're done with the year, people.
Awesome.
We're done. All right. We'll see you all next week.
See ya.